We're back with the Ron and Fez Show.
That's right, we are back with the Ron and Fez Show. We also have that iPod to give out tonight. Wonderboy, what's tonight's idea?
Tonight I wanted to play AWOL for Broad Bandits.
All right, what?
AWOL for Broad Bandits. I saw a story today.
If you put on the headphones, then you'll know that you're not making sense. I heard this, Fezzy.
You're all slurry and talking too fast.
AOL for Broad Bandits. There was a guy today that a principal who was fired in D.C. for selling a school bus that he had actually stolen. He stole a school bus from his school and sold it. So I thought it would be fun to talk to people about different...
Who was everything? Things you've taken from work.
I've got a control board at my house.
Okay, I saw the other...
I haven't taken anything yet, but I plan on having a giant slot machine back in my home within 3 weeks. I'm not saying where it's from.
You're the two-arm bandit.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the new nickname. I hope it catches on.
In Maryland, the governor signed a new law that says that they've outlawed spam, like the spam emails.
Why do you have to go so far to say what your idea is? Why does it have to deal in with something dull out of the news?
Well, I don't know. I like to read the news, so I thought that it would be fun to talk about things that you really would like to have
read
outlawed.
The news. I've never known you to know about one thing. I constantly have questions in this room, and you never go. I always depend on a listener.
Well, I read news that isn't really a big
Penny Saver. You read Penny Saver.
Then why aren't you just coming in with a stack of things? Hey, this would be great for the fastest hour on radio.
Well,
Jimmy Olsen, Cub Reporter.
So I thought it would be fun to talk about things you would
Jimmy
like to
Olsen,
outlaw.
Clubfoot Reporter. That's him.
Always last to a story.
It's Jimmy Olsen, Clubfoot Reporter. I thought he was just tense when I saw his leg up like that all the time. So what are you asking?
I think it would be fun to talk about things you would like to have outlawed.
Rape. I would put rape on the list and then murder.
Those are wrong.
Yeah.
I meant
beating.
I meant things that aren't presently illegal, more like a pet peeve. Like if I could outlaw anything, if I could make it punishable by jail time, it would be crying babies. Everywhere you go, some baby starts shouting and ruins whatever that experience is.
Laszlo said, what if we outlaw dull, boring Bible guests?
So you want to create a baby jail?
Well, I don't think you have to send the baby to jail, but you could definitely ticket the parents. I think like a $75 fine would be perfect.
What are you in for?
Is this some kind of a shock radio bit that somehow a crying baby should be against the law? It doesn't even make sense.
No, but just the other day I was out. You're
an adult, right?
Yes.
And so you stop your whining now. About a baby who's crying, they can't help it.
I'm not saying that the baby's responsible, but the person that's holding the baby is.
So it's love the sin or hate the sin.
Yes.
And what are you supposed to do when a baby's crying?
I don't know. It's one reason why I wouldn't have a kid. I don't know how to stop it, but you shouldn't leave it.
You can't always stop a baby from crying. Maybe it's got a high fever. And there you are giving it a $75 fine.
But you can hold it really close in like that last MASH episode.
That was a chicken, wasn't it? I never watched the end of it.
Turned out the chicken was the baby.
Oh, see, I never finished that. It was an hour long, and I didn't have that kind of time.
I think if a baby has a fever, it shouldn't be out in public.
You don't know it all the time.
Food court.
You don't know what's wrong with a baby when it starts to cry. You want to try to find out, not start screaming at it like you.
I think that you should find out, and that's good, but just don't do it in a public place. It's inconsiderate. So that's my thing that I would like to outlaw. That'd be my thing of where if you have a baby crying in public, you're getting a fine. That's just it.
What about
even like a short cry? Like would this be worth?
No, it would have to be long enough for someone to complain about.
All right, tell me when.
I would already be looking for someone to complain to. So what I would do is I would call like a policeman and say, I have a disturbance here. I mean, you're not allowed to make a disturbance. That's a disturbance to me.
All right.
You know what newspaper he writes? Jenny Q said he reads Grit. That's the paper he gets up and reads in the morning.
Yeah, Jenny Q's on.
She's always on.
Now, babies make a mess when they're eating. Would you ban them from any sort of restaurant?
That's another thing you can find parents for. Yes, definitely. A parent, you could expand it to a parent that can't control their child and make them behave properly deserves a fine.
How do you control them trying to put pudding in their mouths?
There's only been one parent in history that was able to control a child, and that was Fez's mom. She got him...
I thought you were going to say Mary.
Up on the couch. To me, your mom is like Mary.
Like Murray.
She's the Virgin Mary. You know my nephew, the Virgin Mary, don't you? Never had a gal.
Never married.
Sad. I'm going to give that joke to Iris. My nephew, the Virgin Mary. All right, so your point is you want to outlaw babies from being in food courts or...
Well, from misbehaving in public places, including food ports, theaters.
Food ports. Now it's a food port. Where you flying to today? Hamburger? Yeah, edge.
So the food court, is that where you would try the crying baby?
No, there's no way to fight this. You can't say my baby wasn't crying. The baby was crying.
Nutsy. When you say a baby's not behaving, that's how a baby behaves, by crying.
That's them expressing themselves.
But what you should do is let the baby express himself outside of the restaurant or the store or the public gathering. Bring him out to the car and sit with him, figure it out there, where you're not bothering everyone else.
Yeah, because he's not a human. That baby's no longer human.
Why don't you go out to your car if it bothers you so much?
Well, let's get this over with right away. Patrick, what do you got for us?
I think we should outlaw Wonder Boy's stupid game.
All right, thank you very much. Josh, what do you got for us, buddy?
I think we should outlaw bad radio producers.
Thank you very much. So let's get that out of the way now, so no more of those calls.
Thank you.
It makes sense, and it's easy. And I won't say who in management, but one of them said to me, what dull call-in topic is Wonder Boy lined up for us tonight to give away the iPod?
That's hurtful.
Yeah.
You think that's hurtful? We got another what are we going to do speech.
Maybe you can write this to the letter of editor of Grit. Well, dear Grit, I was able to get a bicycle by selling your magazine.
You can write the highlights where you're the goofest of producers.
Who was Gallant?
Gallant always books great guests.
Gallant is a big, overweight intern. That's the odd thing.
Sid, whose grandfather, God bless him, is having his stomach stapled tonight.
No, he's not. I think he's got a serious problem.
Oh.
866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. We'll do this as fast as easy as we possibly can. And then this is the end of Call In with Bad Stories night.
Okay.
And then you start doing what?
Deucing?
No. Pro getting out of here is what I want you to say. I want you to start pro leaving. Dear Grit.
I don't write. There's people in the hallways laughing at
Stubbs. By the way, he's also selling seeds, if anybody would like to buy some.
Well, he wants to win that big bicycle.
Sure he does. The big bicycle that never arrives. Why don't you just pick out those X-ray glasses? Save up your coupons for that.
I'm not writing letters to the editors.
All right, so things that you wished were outlawed.
Yes.
All because the governor of Maryland said what?
They passed a law to make the penalties stiffer on spam emails. So you can actually now do jail time for sending.
I can understand that. I don't understand how you tie that in with being mean to infants.
I don't feel like infants are the only people that annoy other people, but it certainly gets on my nerves to hear that kind of noise from a baby or anybody.
Well, if you have an adult crying in the middle, everyone's going to think, wow, this is a real problem. You would go, how can I help you? I hear you screaming at the top of your life.
Weren't you a baby once, Wonder Boy? A big molly baby?
I believe that I was. But I don't think I was allowed to cry and carry on in public.
All right, 866-277-4969. I know it's a bad bit, but here we go. It's what would you like to outlaw? What about you, Fez? What would you like to outlaw?
I would like to outlaw people going slow in the left-hand lane.
That's where I go, and it's slow and steady wins the race. That's what I say to myself. Slow and steady wins the race.
It's annoying, and people shouldn't have their babies in the left-hand lane.
You know, there was a woman next to me today that wasn't turning on the green arrow, and I'm sitting in the middle on the red light. and this huge truck comes up, like an 18-wheeler, and he's honking, but the horn sounds like this. And I turn around to look who's beeping, like it was a scooter, and literally was this big convoy-type truck.
Your horn really should match your car.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like maybe they said to themselves, "Hey, we're frightening people with our horns. Let's have a little one when it's not a runaway truck time." All right, let's take a break here, Fezzy. We'll come back and give out an iPod. 866-277-4969. It's What's Got You Beef. What do you want to do? What do you want to outlaw out there? We'll be right back. It's the Ron and Fez Show.